very, very heavy impact there for Scott Pruitt, going in directly backwards, and no question that seat, that new seat in there, saved him from a potential injury, I would suggest.
Yes, and that's the good news, as you say. Good to see that. Improvements all the time in safety as Andretti continues to lead them round. Wait, this is getting exciting. We've got a lap to go to the green flag waves again, and one of the Chip Ganassi cars has come into the pits, and I can't spot which one it is yet. Try and look across from our vantage point, but it's difficult to see. It's Zanardi who's come in. Zanardi who's come into the pits. Jimmy Vasser has stayed out there. Michael Andretti, there goes Zanardi. He's put some fuel in, and that should last him through to the end of the race. The question is, what is going to happen up front? Fantastic. We've got under 60 laps, 57 laps to go now here. We should be getting the green flag either this lap or the next lap. Gilles de Ferran also deciding to come into the pits. He's in 10th place as they get the green flag starting again. There's no rain falling at the moment, and it looks pretty good to get at least some more laps underway. If they manage to go green for the rest of it, we'd have about half an hour running to do still, and maybe they can squeeze that in between the rain showers and between the thunderstorm that is still on its way here. Building up the speed then, we're going to go green flag racing. Michael Andretti is going to set them off once again. The green flag flies, and Jimmy Vasser chases Andretti across the line. Greg Moore in third, Maurizio Guterman in fourth, and trying to go past and doing so superbly. Paul Tracy moves up into fourth position in an aggressive move straight away on the green flag. He knows that he's got to go for it now. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, the other guys making their way around turns 1 and 2 fairly safely as well, including those people who've just stopped in the pits, including Alex Zanardi and Gilles de Ferran. Look at this though, Paul Tracy is now pushing. Alonso Jr. has decided to come into the pits. Alonso Jr. has come in, but Tracy's gone past Moore. Paul Tracy gets past Greg Moore. He goes up into second position now rather, and Tracy, who dropped to the back of the field earlier on in this race when he had to stop under green flag, is now setting a blistering pace here, moving past Greg Moore. And in fact, that caption's not right, because he's in second place. Oh, it's troubles for Alonso Jr. He's getting out of the car. What a disappointment. Another non-finish to add to his tally this year, and it really isn't coming together for him at all this season. But up front there, third place for Tracy, still behind Jimmy Vasser. Michael Andretti still leads this race. Vasser in second place, Tracy now in third, Greg Moore is in fourth position, Guterman fifth, Parker Johnston in sixth, and then Ribeiro in seventh, and Dario Franchitti in eighth place. Thanks to that stop that he made under yellow flag, he is now in eighth position, and a few of those ahead of him may well have to stop before the end of this race. Fantastic stuff.
I think they've all got to stop before the end of this race. I think that's wonderful strategy by Carl Hogan. We could be in for a major upset this afternoon, unless I'm very much mistaken, as another commentator friend of ours might say.
Across the line they go then, and Jimmy Vasser still in second position. Remember, they're chasing after Michael Andretti. Andretti's lapping quickly, 25.406 his last lap, and that's 700ths of a second quicker than Vasser in clear air. Andretti's car really is working well, and that's a little different to what we've seen earlier on this year. He's had the car so well set up for running in traffic in the past. It's a bit of a surprise to see him running so well up front in clean air.
Forget whatever we said earlier in the race about Michael Andretti. Whether it's the adrenaline of being in the lead, I don't know, but there he is, 25.418. He is flying in the lead.
He really is going well and pulling away from this battle behind. Vasser in second, Tracy in third. Tracy was so quick on that restart and just zapped past Greg Moore before Moore really had a chance to think about it. But let's hear from Alonso Jr.
What was the problems you were having earlier? He said finally. What were the problems you had earlier?
Well, at the beginning of the race there, I had a wicker bill that was starting to come out. That's why I came in that one pit stop. And then I guess I'm supposed to go back to the back of the pack, which I didn't realize. And so when we started again, then they told me I had to go back to the back of the pack, so I went to the back, working our way up through there. Came in and had a bad clutch on my one stop, and then, but that all kind of worked itself out because the guys made some bad calls up in cart, and then finally when on me, I was just gearbox.
Okay, obviously Alonso Jr. not happy with the call upstairs. Three guys happy, but obviously those who were moved back are not, Bob.
Look at this battle for second place. Jimmy Vasser and Paul Tracy. Tracy getting a little bit closer now as they come down to turn one. Look at the onboard view as Tracy tries to get down the inside. Oh dear, that was as close as it can possibly get. And Tracy's going to lose a place to Greg Moore as a result if he's not very careful. Wheel to wheel again down the back straight. No love lost. Change of lead. Andretti gets passed by Jimmy Vasser. Vasser goes into the lead. Andretti drops back to second place. Tracy in third, but now getting into second. Andretti suddenly slows down. He lost a lot of pace there as Vasser went past, and now it looks as though Greg Moore's going through. Andretti's in some sort of difficulty. There's no doubt about it. He's been lapping quickly up front, but suddenly he drops back to fourth position, and he's going to lose a place to Maurizio Guterman as well. So our race leader is now Jimmy Vasser. Tracy second. Andretti third. Well, further back, he's fourth now, in fact, behind Greg Moore, and then behind him is Guterman, Johnston, Ribeiro and Franchitti.
That car suddenly went away from Michael Andretti. He was running consistent laps at 25.4, 25.4. Now he's lost about 0.8 of a second. He's doing 26.2s now. In serious trouble for Michael Andretti. Very curious. I mean, you must have all I can suggest is maybe he overworked the tyres there. The tyres are beginning to go away. There goes Guterman down the inside. Absolutely no problem. Poor old Michael Andretti sliding back to the field.
Yeah, that rain shower didn't bring everything that he wanted in the end. He looked so good when it was under yellow flag, leading the pack, but now he just seems to have some sort of difficulty with the car. He's dropping away, and Parker Johnston will be the next one to overtake him. And that'll put him down to sixth position behind Johnston, not far behind Ribeiro and Franchitti. You can see the yellow and blue car of Andre Ribeiro right behind Parker Johnston in the green and white car. Andretti could almost see him working at the wheel as he turned in there into turn 3. And then Dario Franchitti at the back of this group. Reports from the pits say that there isn't actually a problem with the car. The Newman Haas pit has reported there isn't anything that they can actually say is wrong with the car. He just suddenly has lost pace here, and whether it's the tyres going off or some other problem, he just cannot run at the same pace he was just a few laps ago. Johnston goes through. Andretti doesn't even bother really to defend that position, and meanwhile we're back with the leaders, and look at this, Paul Tracy and Greg Moore going past Walter Salles and battling for second position. Greg Moore looking for the opportunity to get up underneath the Penske defending the line out of turn 2, and now they've got to get past Matsushita as well as they come up into turn 3. Both get through fairly cleanly.
Oh dear, get out of the way, Hero. I'm amazed he's still going. He's soldiering on there. He's doing the best he can to keep out of the way, I hope. There goes Walter Salles down the inside, another slower car behind him as the leaders pile into turn 1. Jimmy Vasser with a second or so lead now over Paul Tracy, who's got himself a little bit of a breathing space finally over Greg Moore, and then that battle, some battles further back down the field. Actually, Matsushita's slow on the back straight as I see.
Pretty slow everywhere, isn't he? But a little bit more slow on the back straight this time. 42 laps remain here. Lap 195, as you can see, completed. Jimmy Vasser with just under a second lead. Look at this battle further back. Ribeiro now going past Andretti, and so is, though rather Matsushita. Franchitti trying to get past Ribeiro. Oh, and something flew off there. I don't know what that was.
I think it was a little bit of debris there, Ben, perhaps on the inside of the racetrack, and Dario Franchitti ran over it. Has he got a puncture? I hope not.
I don't know. Did something happen to him?
He has.
Has he got a puncture? Something happened to Dario. Or is it yellow? Yellow has come out. He may just have seen the yellow flag on the back straight. So that may be the reason he's slowed down. And we've got a little bit more rain falling as well. Now let's take a look. He was down the inside here. Having a look down the inside of Ribeiro there, it looked almost like a bit of the headrest. You know, they have that little padding around the head. It looked like something from there, or maybe, well, there it is. Is it soft or is it hard? Difficult to tell there. It looked to me as though it may be part of the headrest that actually came off. And of course the yellow flag is now for debris, because anything that goes out on the track, anything that's solid and that can damage the car, has to be taken off the track. The car safety team is just coming out. I can see from our position here one of the trucks going out now to pick it up. And Franchitti will no doubt be radioing back to his pits to tell them what's been going on there. But I do hope it's not a major problem, because he's been running so strong. And in 7th place at the moment behind Ribeiro in 6th.
Phew, we can catch our breath.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. And I'm so glad we were able to get back to green. I think we all needed that just to catch our breaths here. We've got, what, 37 or 8 laps to go here, and we've got quite a battle on our hands, haven't we?
We have. I'm just looking out the window and looking at these little droplets again on the windscreen. That's a bit of a worry. I just want this race to go all the way. It's okay. Looking out the back, it looks a bit brighter, so hopefully it's not going to cause any problems, and we'll be able to get this race underway once the debris has been picked up. Vassar leads Tracy and Moore. These three have been battling so hard for the last few laps. Absolutely fantastic stuff, but don't forget, some pit stops are still due. Are we going to see them come into the pits now? Yes, we are. Now, this is where they all start to make their stops, and under yellow flag conditions, but this is still tremendous news for Dario Franchitti, because he stopped on the last set of yellow flags, and he should be pretty much at the head of the queue. We'll have to wait and see if they all come in. Now Franchitti will be coming round, all the rest of them coming in. This is their final stop, and this is a critical stop. The battle in the pit lane, remember, it might be under yellow flag, but you still want to get out ahead of your main contender. Oh, God, that was close between Moore and Tracy as they came out. Vassar just squeezes it. They're all three on the speed limiter, all popping away at 60 miles an hour and making their way down the pit lane and come out onto the track again. Now then, Franchitti is now leading this race. He is now going to have the attentions of all of the top kart drivers right behind him in the remaining 38 laps. Now that really is quite something, isn't it, Jeremy? He's got the opportunity here for a race win if he can hold it all together. With everybody else lining up behind him, this is going to be some climax to the race.
That's
So there's the lead pack, and Dario Franchitti at the start, at the head of the field there. He's actually got a car between himself. No, he's actually not right behind the pace car. He's third in the line at the moment.
Those two regained the lead lap when the leading cars came into the pits. Those two cars there, Gualter Salas and Michel Jourdain Jr., were between the race leader and Dario Franchitti when the caution came out. In a couple of laps here, just before we go back to green, they will be waved past that pace truck. They will pull on around to the back of the field and continue their race from way back there. So Dario Franchitti will be at the head of the pack when we come to the restart.
Second place is Carpentier. He's in the same situation as Dario because he'd already stopped as well. And there's the two rookies, the two rookies who are battling for Rookie of the Year honours at the moment. They both scored points, and this is going to be a battle between them. But behind them, Zanardi is in third place. Now remember, he stopped a little earlier than the other guys. He stopped when this race was going to go green. So he's now lying third, with Gilles de Ferran behind him as well. Those two are in great shape, and so this is really going to be quite something. 200 laps. They've just completed 200 laps as they've gone across the line there, and they're all bunching up a lot here. As you can see, Greg Moore right behind Jimmy Vassar.
What a responsibility on young Dario Franchitti's shoulders here. Here he is in the lead of a major motor race. You know, he's used to winning. He's won a couple of ITC races for Mercedes-Benz. No, not much greater pressure than that, I would imagine, with a major corporation. But here he is, this unsponsored team, of course. Carl Hogan's team set up just at the beginning of this year. And tremendous strategy. Dario has been driving absolutely magnificently all weekend. He was third quick on the first day in practice. And let's see what he can do. 36 laps to go.
This is quite something as they build up towards taking the green flag once again here at Gateway. Dario Franchitti is the race leader as they come out of turns 3 and 4 and onto the main straight, and Dario Franchitti leads. Carpentier in second place, just getting past the lapped car of Raul Boesel. There's no problem there, but Franchitti made an excellent start, and that's the first key element. Now then, the next thing is to try and lap consistently quickly, and we'll keep an eye on the lap times as Alex Zanardi also makes the move on Boesel, but he doesn't quite, because Boesel just shuts the door on him. Alex won't like that very much. The Italian will be getting very fired up in the cockpit of his car, because Boesel is something like 6 laps behind these guys and really not a part of the equation at all, and yet he's lapping very quickly. Don't forget, he sat on the pole, he led in the early stages of this race, and now that he's in that position, Zanardi may well find it quite difficult to get past him. But there is young Dario Franchitti, his birthday was just this last week, and he leads here with some 34 laps to go.
Meanwhile, Greg Moore slipping rapidly down the charts. He was back to 11th place on that lap and falling back clearly in tremendous trouble. There is Treaty diving to the inside of Jimmy Vasser. Can't make it stick this time.
Not quite. Jimmy Vasser running in 5th place. Paul Tracy now in 6th, with these guys having had made their pit stop slightly later. Oh, and Greg Moore into the pits now. Was there a problem on the stop when he came in? Oh, I can't believe he always seems to suffer this sort of problem at the end of a race. Bad luck, something they've stalled the engine as well. They're trying to get the starter engaged, firing it up at the back there, but he's just losing time and time and time, and eventually he gets out, but that's dropped him right down the order. It doesn't look like he's going to be scoring many points here this afternoon.
What a shame for Greg Moore. Another wonderful drive, really, by the young Canadian driver, I should say, from Maple Ridge, Vancouver area of British Columbia. He rejoins the race there. He's already back to 14th place, a couple of laps down already. How quickly times can change, huh?
Frankie